She smiled and handed my cabin keys to her son like it was a birthday gift. While I was still standing right there, I told her, "That's my property." She laughed in my face and said, "Not anymore. The HOA voted. You abandoned it." Abandoned it? I had been gone for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That cabin belonged to my late father, a retired agent who worked with the Federal Bureau of Investigation for over 20 years. I was fixing paperwork in another state after he passed. Taxes were paid. Utilities were active. Cameras were running. Nothing about it was abandoned. But Karen didn't care. She stood there in her bright red jacket, acting like she owned the forest. "My son needs a fresh start," she said loudly so the neighbors could hear. And this cabin was clearly neglected. Neglected? The porch lights were on. My truck tracks were still in the dirt. Her son, Tyler, looked nervous. He wouldn't even look at me. He just held the keys like they were burning his hand. I stayed calm. That made her more angry. "You people think you can just buy land and ignore community rules," she snapped. "You people." That's when she pulled out a paper and taped it to my door. Official HOA repossession notice, no county seal, no legal stamp, just a cheap printout. "I never signed any HOA agreement," I told her. "This land isn't even inside your subdivision line." She stepped closer. "We expanded last year. Majority vote." I almost smiled at that. Expanded? Into federal woodland buffer property? But I didn't say it yet. Instead, I asked her one simple question. "Did you check the deed records before giving away someone else's cabin?" She rolled her eyes. "I've already talked to the sheriff." That caught my attention. "Really?" I asked. "Yes," he said, "it's a civil matter. So unless you want to cause trouble, I suggest you leave." Cause trouble on my own land. Then came the part that made the neighbors whisper. She turned to her son and said loudly, "Go ahead, sweetheart. It's yours." He walked past me and unlocked my door. That's when I saw it. 2 black SUVs slowly pulling up the gravel road. No sirens, no lights. Just steady, calm, intentional. Karen didn't notice. She was too busy enjoying her victory. But I knew those vehicles, and I knew exactly what was about to happen. Because this cabin wasn't just my father's retirement home. It was still under federal asset protection review. And Karen had just handed FBI-monitored property to her son on camera. I looked at her and said quietly, "You really should have checked who owned this land." She smirked. The SUV doors opened, and that's when her smile started to fade. The SUV doors closed with a heavy sound that echoed through the trees. 2 men stepped out, calm, serious, both wearing plain jackets. No loud badges, no flashing lights. Just quiet authority. Karen crossed her arms. "Oh, good," she said loudly. "You're just in time. This man is trespassing." One of the agents looked at me first. Not at her, at me. "Sir, are you Daniel Hayes?" I nodded. Karen blinked. "Why are you asking him that?" "He's the problem." The second agent walked past her without answering and glanced at the small black camera above my porch. "Footage is still transmitting," he said quietly to his partner. Karen's smile twitched. "Transmitting where?" The first agent finally looked at her. "Ma'am, can you step away from the property line?" She laughed. "Property line? I'm the HOA president. This cabin was repossessed. Legally." She pointed at the paper. "Still taped to my door like it meant something." The agent didn't even read it. "Do you have federal authorization documents?" "Federal?" she snapped. "This is a neighborhood issue." I stayed quiet. "Let her talk." Tyler slowly stepped back onto the porch. "Mom, maybe we should just be quiet," she whispered sharply. The second agent pulled out a tablet and turned the screen toward her. A map, clear boundary lines, one thick red section around my cabin. "This parcel," he said calmly, "is registered under a protected federal holding connected to an ongoing review." Karen's face lost color. "That's not possible." I checked the county website. The agent nodded slightly. "County records don't show federal overlays until clearance is complete." She looked at me like I had tricked her. "You set this up?" I finally spoke. "No, you just didn't check deep enough." Neighbors were gathering now. "Phones out? Watching?" The first agent turned to Tyler. "Did you enter this structure?" Tyler swallowed. "She gave me the keys." "Did you remove or move anything inside?" "No, I just unlocked it." Karen stepped between them. "This is ridiculous. He owns it now." The agent's tone changed. Not louder, just firmer. Ma'am, this property is currently under monitoring connected to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Unauthorized transfer, forced entry, or false documentation involving it can become a federal matter very quickly. Federal matter. The word hit her hard. She tried to recover. I was protecting our community. He abandoned it. I looked straight at her. 3 weeks. The second agent zoomed the tablet screen. We have activity logs from the last 21 days. Utilities active. Security active. Remote access active. Her lips parted slightly. Then the first agent asked the question that changed everything. Ma'am, who advised you that you could expand your HOA into restricted woodland buffer territory? She froze. Because that expansion she bragged about, it wasn't just illegal. It crossed directly into federal land. And the map on that tablet didn't just circle my cabin. It showed 5 other homes built past the approved line, homes owned by her closest board members. Karen slowly turned toward the watching neighbors. And for the first time, she looked scared. Karen's hand started shaking. She opened her mouth, then closed it. The neighbors were whispering. Phones pointed toward her like little recorders of her humiliation. Step back, the first agent said again, calm but firm. All unauthorized persons off the property, please. Karen tried to protest. I was just... Ma'am, the second agent interrupted. Falsifying HOA documents and transferring federal property can be considered impersonation and fraud. Her jaw dropped. She glanced at Tyler, who was frozen on the porch, still holding the cabin keys. He looked at me, confused, like he wasn't sure whose side he should be on. I walked closer, slow, controlled. Funny thing about giving away a cabin you don't own. It makes a lot of people very interested in your HOA decisions. Karen's face went red. You can't, this is my community. Oh, it's your community, I said softly. But apparently the federal government has a different opinion. The agents moved subtly, blocking exits. Karen turned toward the gravel road, realization hitting her that there was nowhere to escape. She looked at the crowd of neighbors and tried to muster authority, but it was gone. They were whispering, recording, taking pictures. Tyler's voice broke the silence. Mom, maybe we should just give the keys back? Karen snapped at him, but her voice lacked strength. No, don't you dare! The first agent tapped a button on his tablet. A small drone hovered above, its camera clearly recording. The feed was live. You're being recorded right now, the agent said. For legal documentation. Everything you did here is evidence. Her eyes darted from the drone to me, then to her neighbors. The neighbors weren't hiding their smirks. Everyone who had heard her brag about expanding the HOA suddenly realized she'd been lying. You don't understand, Karen whispered, now almost pleading. I leaned slightly closer. I understand perfectly. You tried to take someone's property. You falsified papers. You gave away federal property to your son. And you didn't even check. Her knees wobbled. Tyler dropped the keys onto the porch floor. The agent spoke again, quiet but deadly serious. We'll take it from here. Anyone else involved in unauthorized actions will be contacted. I suggest you cooperate. Karen's face went pale, her voice finally breaking. I didn't mean to... The neighbors started whispering louder, phones out. Some were recording her confession. I took a deep breath. My cabin was safe. The cameras, the federal notice, the deeds, all of it validated. And Karen, she had no way out. But the twist wasn't over, because as the agents walked toward the cabin, a low rumble came from behind the trees. Tyler froze. Karen's face twisted in panic. The sound wasn't from a car or truck. It was deeper, heavier, and from the woods something started moving, directly toward us. The rumble grew louder, shaking the gravel under our feet. Trees swayed unnaturally, and a sharp smell of burning oil filled the air. Karen stepped back, tripping over her heels while Tyler clutched her arm. I stayed calm. My father had warned me about the old logging trail behind the cabin. It hadn't been used in years, except by one thing. Out of the shadows roared a massive vehicle, a customized, blacked-out military-grade off-road truck, bigger than any pickup. Tires taller than Karen herself. Its engine growled like a wild animal, lights cutting through the dim forest. Karen screamed. What? What is that? I smirked, stepping aside. Something my dad left behind, in case someone tried to mess with the cabin while I was away. The truck skidded to a stop a few feet from the cabin, doors swinging open. Inside, a team of federal operatives in plain clothes nodded at me. "We got the alert from the cameras. Looks like she was trying to gift your property," one of them said. Karen's jaw dropped. Her hands flew to her mouth. Tyler stared in awe, unable to process what was happening. "You see," I said calmly, "you didn't just give away a cabin. You gave away federal property, and now you're facing trespassing, fraud, and attempted falsification charges." The neighbors were frozen. Phones out, recording everything. Some whispered, "Is that an FBI truck?" Karen tried to push past me, screaming, "This is harassment! This is illegal!" The lead operative shook his head. "No, ma'am. You are the one committing illegal acts." I leaned closer to Karen, voice low but sharp. "And if you think this ends with just me, the federal team behind me has already been reviewing your HOA expansion for months." Her face paled. You can't." The truck doors closed behind the operatives. Karen stumbled back, tripping over the keys Tyler had dropped earlier. Tyler finally stepped forward, holding out his hand toward me. "Dad, should we call it a day?" I smiled faintly, taking his hand. "Yeah, let's finish this right." Karen's screams faded as the federal operatives started documenting every fake notice, every altered record, every illegal boundary she had claimed. The twist was complete. Not only had she tried to steal my cabin, she had unknowingly exposed herself to a full federal investigation in front of the entire neighborhood. And from that moment on, everyone watching knew one thing clearly: Karen's reign of HOA terror was over. But just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, the lead operative looked at me with a grim expression. "There's one more thing," he said. My heart sank. Because in federal cases, one more thing never meant good news. I froze. "One more thing?" I asked, my voice steady but my mind racing. The operative nodded, flipping a folder open. Photos, maps, emails, all highlighted in bright red. "Your cabin wasn't just under federal protection. It's part of a larger undercover operation. Someone has been monitoring suspicious activity in this region for months, including HOA board members." Karen, still on the ground, started to shake. "Nope, that can't be!" I looked at her, realizing the full scale of what was about to unfold. Her fake expansion? The illegal cabins she approved? Every false notice she posted? It wasn't just her embarrassment anymore. It was evidence of a network of corruption. Tyler stepped back, eyes wide. "Mom, what's happening?" Karen's voice cracked. I didn't know." The operative continued. "We've already traced communications showing attempts to bypass federal land restrictions. Your HOA notices, your fake sheriff letters, every document has been logged. You're going to be contacted soon for questioning, along with everyone else involved." The neighborhood gasped. Phones were recording, whispers spreading fast. Karen tried to storm off, but two plainclothes agents blocked her path. I finally let myself exhale, but there was no time to relax. I glanced at the cabin door. Everything inside was intact, untouched. The cameras had captured everything, and now the federal operatives had all the proof they needed. Then I looked back at Karen. Her face had turned pale, her voice almost gone. I thought I was smart." "You weren't," I said softly. "You underestimated the wrong people and the wrong property." Tyler whispered, "Dad, will they get in trouble?" I nodded slowly. "They already are, just not in the way she imagined." The lead operative stepped closer. "We'll handle the rest. You did the right thing by waiting." Karen's lips trembled, her eyes darting between the agents and me. She tried one last defiant glare, but it was hollow. "The final twist?" Everyone in the neighborhood now saw Karen's true face. Entitled, reckless and dangerous, not just a HOA bully, but someone tangled in a legal mess she never anticipated. As the operatives escorted her and started documenting her actions, I finally felt it, relief mixed with satisfaction. And for the first time in weeks, my cabin truly felt like home again. But deep down, I knew this wasn't just about a cabin. This was about every corrupt HOA member who thought they could play God with other people's property. And I wasn't done making sure the truth came out. End the story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing HOA stories.